Coming up on News 11, a local musician is lighting his hands on fire, Tropicana is struggling with keeping consumers, and Betty White stamp is coming to a post office near you. These stories and more, News 11 starts right now.
Good evening and welcome back to News 11. I'm Julia Skiba.
And I'm Sam Falone.
We have a lot of exciting stories to cover, so let's get started with your local news. Paul Trippi, a Dunkirk High School student, is one of a few dozen students across the country to receive a Legion of Valor Bronze Cross of Achievement for his Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps service. Trippi was announced as a recipient at last week's Board of Education meeting. This award is awarded nationally to less than 1% of eligible JROTC cadets. The social media post from the school said, quote, "We are proud to have him represent our school and community with such honor," end quote. Trippi was selected for his honor based on his academic and athletic performances, his community service, and his leadership within the community.
3 schools south of Dunkirk, known as Clymer, Sherman, and Panama, have been toying with conflicts that come with merged sports. Currently, the schools are at a toss-up as to whether to continue the CPS athletics merge. For many, the sports merger works, as between the 3 schools have enough students to create well-rounded sports teams, and for others, not so much. Between the 3 schools, they have 20 athletes playing on the girls' volleyball team, which plays into the question of should they no longer merge or begin to make cuts for teams like these. If the schools stop the merge, neither of the 3 schools have enough for viable teams, whereas with all 3 schools together, some teams are too large. The schools have continuous board meetings on whether or not to keep the merge for all sports and make cuts when necessary, or cut back and only merge for teams that it is necessary for. With the merging of sports, many students had asked if they could have a merged prom, as they already have merged homecoming, and it always makes for a good time. The plans are still up in the air for whether to keep the sports teams merged, as well as if they should have a merged prom.
The United States Postal Service letter carriers are rallying together to demand better wages. Local union employees say that the proposed contract agreement does not sufficiently compensate them for the work that they do every day. They feel they are not being valued as letter carriers, and the current economic climate is not reflected in their wages. The president of the National Association of Letter Carriers, Branch 3, David Groskopf Jr., says many problems within the workforce can be attributed to the inadequate benefit package. The union's last contract offered a 4.8% wage increase, while the latest contract offered only a 3.9% wage increase. Considering inflation has been up to 4 to 8% the past few years, a 3.9% wage increase will not keep employees on track with inflation. The USPS released a statement saying that they respect their employees' rights to protest while off the clock. The union has been without a contract for over 600 days. This ballot will be sent out at the end of the month, and many workers have indicated planning on voting against it.
A local teen in Hamburg, Joe Dayer, known as Joe the Pro, is teaching others his expertise in repairing bowling machines. It all started at Cloverbank Bowling when his parents signed him when he was a 5-year-old, and he practiced as bowling with pins at home with his dad and explained the correct way to set up the pins. Upon his confusion, his dad took him to the back of the bowling alley to show him how they worked, and that's when his passion started. From then, he became extremely interested in machine engineering and how to fix the machines. Many of the machines are extremely old, some at Cloverbank dating back to 1959, and most of the parts aren't even available anymore. Dayer says, quote, "Being out there, it's important as a mechanic because just watching the machines operating, you can see a lot of potential problems that will occur either soon or in the future, and you can prevent it," end quote. Joe uses his knowledge and spreads it to others on YouTube with tutorials about the machines and how to fix problems. He is currently a mechanic for 4 local bowling centers and hopes to use his platform to help others learn and be successful at fixing these machines as well.
On Saturday, Damon Gross, a young Buffalo musician, lit his hands on fire for the cover of his new album. The stunt was coordinated and supervised by Greg Robbins, owner of Robbins Stunt Team, as the rest of his team were in a controlled area. Robbins has 41 years of experience in the stunt industry with credits that include The Terminator and The Cabrini, which was shot recently in Western New York. Robbins said, quote, "It's very dangerous and you can't control fire. We've done everything from a hand to a full body and it's all the same. It's not predictable at all. So you've got to have everything in place. You've got to know what you're doing and pray," end quote. Robbins also noted that because of the increased interest in filming movies in Western New York, his stunt team is conducting stuntman boot camps next February.
The Buffalo Sabres hosted their annual Thanksgiving Turkey Drive this morning. The event was held at 3 locations, KeyBank Center and Tops Friendly Market in Tonawanda and West Seneca. Fans received 1 voucher for 2 tickets to an upcoming Sabres game by donating a 20-pound turkey with a maximum of 1 voucher per person. The donated turkeys will be handed out to the Buffalo City Mission and Feed More WNY.
The Goo Goo Dolls, an American rock band formed in 1986, will be returning in August to perform their hometown for their first time since 2022. The Goo Goo Dolls were formed by John Resnick and Robbie Takac in 1986, and since then they have sold 15 million records worldwide and have had 16 #1 and top 10 hits. Some of their most popular songs include Slide, Name, and Iris, among others. The band's first performance at KeyBank Center was in 1996, 10 years after their initial formation. The band has only played in Buffalo twice since then, with a performance on July 4th in 2006, as well as one in 2022 on New Year's Eve. Pre-sale tickets will go on sale beginning November 21st, and public tickets will go on sale the following day.
Last Monday, a fire in Buffalo spread throughout the Pine Harbor apartments, causing an estimated $1 million in damages. Local officials received reports of a fire on the 7th floor as the Buffalo Fire Department arrived quickly to the scene. The fire spread all the way through the roof, causing $800,000 in building damages and $200,000 in damage to the building's contents. 2 firemen are currently being treated for injuries, but the severity of their wounds is still unknown. The cause of the fire is also still unknown at this moment. Those injured or displaced by the fire are being treated by the Red Cross organization.
The Kensington Expressway project has been put on hold after a judge ruled the state has failed to consider the environmental impacts of the billion-dollar project. The project aims to reconnect the neighborhoods in Buffalo's east side and cap a small stretch of Route 33, as well as parks built on top. The group, known as the East Side Parkways Coalition, are the ones that have tried to put a stop to the project. The project was stopped before Phase 1, where they would replace Best Street Bridge, which would, quote, cause irreparable harm to the petitioners, end quote. The coalition is taking the step in the right direction by stopping the project and having the New York State Department of Transportation help to restore the quality of life and vibrancy that was taken from the community decades ago. The coalition is currently receiving grants from local foundations to pay the bounty that they need to face the appeal from the state, and then they plan on reaching out to elected officials for their support in helping with the better project for the Kensington Expressway. Matt Deering, a member from the coalition, says on the process, quote, "We're on the right track and we believe we're going to continue to be successful both in court and through the political process in achieving the goals that we set out last year," end quote.
A new cafe in Lockport has recently opened, which is appealing to parents with babies and toddlers. The baby food cafe, known as Spoons, is located in Arkin Road and is a woman-owned and has all of the handmade baby food for the little ones to enjoy. The menu features baby purees made from locally sourced produce, juice options, along with adult options like coffees, salads, and more. To learn about Spoons and their hours of operation, check their website, spoons716.com. And when we return, we'll have your national stories. We'll be right back.
To Sofia and Gabriel, Miss Flores, my little flowers. Even though these old knees can't follow on your adventure to the forest today, these flowers represent my love, so you can take me with you wherever you go, near or far. These stitches and threads join us together. Me, your mother, and both of you. And wherever you see a flower, a bird, a beautiful tree, know that my love is with you as you bring our colorful stories to the world.
Make the forest part of your story at a park near you. Find one at discovertheforest.org.
There was an old a shoe. She had so many children, she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread and kissed them all soundly and put them to bed. Hunger is a story we can end. End it at feedingamerica.org.
Residents of Syracuse, New York have noticed high amounts of lead in their tap water. Residents are worried, but city officials insist the water is fine to drink. This all started back in August when the city's water department found higher than average levels of lead in the water. Out of 104 homes tested, 27 of them came back with lead levels higher than the limit set by the Environmental Protection Agency. The city responded by claiming the lead tests were faulty and, quote, administered improperly, end quote. Syracuse residents have taken action against the city to protect themselves, such as boiling water or drinking bottled water. But not everyone can afford the cost of bottled water. An estimated 27% of the population are under the poverty line due to mandatory EPA regulations. The city has begun replacing pipes as many of the homes are nearing 40 years old.
Spirit Airlines files for Chapter 11 bankruptcy after years of growing debt. Previously, Spirit Airlines attempted a merger with JetBlue, but that was blocked by a U.S. district judge. Stock prices have been dropping severely, going from $3.22 to just barely $1. The infamous airline has been known for barely floating above going broke, as they have once again just been able to make it out. Spirit has secured a $300 million deal with shareholders that will get them out of debt by the start of 2025. Another reason that they are able to stay in business is because of the holiday season, with both Thanksgiving and winter holidays being a record time for air travel. For now, you will still be able to fly with Spirit as normal.
McDonald's is spending more than $100 million in an effort to lure customers back to their restaurants after an E. coli outbreak that infected more than 100 of its customers last month. The money will be used to potentially bring customers back to stores after the fast food giant unknowingly served tainted onions on its quarter-pound hamburgers. The move comes days after the FDA provided its latest update about the outbreak, which is linked to slivered onions from Taylor Farms in California. So far, 104 confirmed cases of the E. coli strain have been identified across 14 states, and at least 34 hospitalizations have occurred since November 13th. A statement made by the FDA says, quote, McDonald's has reintroduced slivered onions from a different onion supplier into their full menu. At this time, there does not appear to be a continued food safety concern related to this outbreak at McDonald's, end quote.
A New Hampshire animal shelter is facing a, quote, enormous breeding problem after an overwhelmed man came in last week hoping to surrender 150 mice. However, the man didn't just have 150 mice, he had 150 containers of mice. The situation had spiraled out of control due to a rapid breeding, creating a substantial problem for the homeowner and the local shelter. Leah Dennison, executive director of the New Hampshire Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, stated, quote, the breeding of the mice had just created this enormous problem for him, end quote. The mice had been living in filthy plastic tubs that hadn't been cleaned in what appears to be a long time. Dennison is working to care for the mice, find them permanent homes, and prevent further breeding. So far, 18 mice have been adopted, and many others have been sent out to regional welfare organizations. Dennison urges the public to, quote, help these mice find wonderful new homes. They are great fun, end quote.
Coca-Cola made a Christmas promotional video using AI and is facing internet backlash. Users are calling them soulless and devoid of creativity. The video shows Coca-Cola trucks driving through a small snowy town with people in scarves and bottles in their hands. This imagery was meant to pay homage to a similar advertisement that ran in 1995. However, that was filmed with real trucks and real people. The video was created by 3 different AI studios using 4 different generative AI models. Many creatives took to online platforms to share their disappointment in the company for using AI. Many professionals have pushed back on the use of AI, considering many AI models are trained using artists' work without giving proper credit. However, this is not the first Coca-Cola AI advertisement, as it was used in a campaign in March of 2023. The company made a statement making an emphasis on their dedication dedication to new ways to connect with customers and the intersection of human creativity and technology. They also announced they would be working with artists and generative AI to create artwork from the Coca-Cola archives. Professionals believe that despite backlash, generative AI is a fast-growing field and companies will continue to use it for marketing and advertisement.
Fans of Tropicana are starting to ditch the brand after a bottle redesign. The brand has started to roll out bottles that are more traditional looking instead of the infamous carafe-shaped bottles. OJ fans are revolting and making claims that Tropicana is ripping them off by selling the sweet orange liquid in a smaller bottle. Even though the price is recommended to be cheaper, not all retailers have been following this. The brand has had steady sales throughout the year, but after the new bottle design was launched, sales started to plummet. Over the past few months, Tropicana has lost around 4 percentage points of market share to rival company Simply Orange. A similar situation happened in 2009 when Tropicana replaced its logo. And when we return, Jenna joins us for our sports update, and we'll have Adam for your first look at weather. We'll be right back.
I'm Nigel, I'm a friend of John's. I come back here and the wall is just floating, like right there.
When you think of the local lowdown, what do you think of?
Well, when I think of the local lowdown, it's the live music that we have played in the studio.
It's gotta be the laughs we shared. The memorable moments during the whole thing. Oh my God, so fun.
The local lowdown for me is the people behind the scenes, the amazing team that we have making the show.
Oh, it's gotta be exploring all sorts of genres and music I've never heard before.
Oh, easy. Going out to shows and talking to artists and getting the latest news on what they have planned for the future.
It's about these artists, man. Giving them a platform to showcase what they've worked so hard on and show their music to the community. It's all about supporting the local scene of music to keep it running for years to come. And of course, the band merch. You can't forget about the merch.
We are now joined by Jenna, who will be giving us our weekly sports update. What's going on in sports, Jenna?
Thanks, Jules. To kick things off, the Fredonia hockey team defeated SUNY Morrisville in a 4-2 win last Wednesday. It was a close game through the first 2 periods, but the Blue Devils pulled ahead in the final period. Goals were scored by Ryan Bailey, Alexis Gonzalez-Lambert, Xavier Fortin, and Antoine St. Ange. Fredonia had 48 shots on Morrisville, and Fredonia goalie Jameson Kane had 26 saves. The Blue Devils play next this Friday at 7 p.m. at SUNY Canton. This past Saturday, Fredonia hosted the Niagara Regional Meets. There were over 228 runners from 28 different schools across the state in attendance. Fredonia senior Sembel Koshi earned all region for his efforts during the race. The Fredonia women's 6K race placed 17th, while the men's 8K race placed 13th. This was the final cross-country meet of the season. Moving on to Buffalo sports, the Bills had an exciting game this past Sunday. They played the Kansas City Chiefs and secured a victory of 30-21. It was neck and neck for the entire game, but the Bills ultimately served the Chiefs their first loss of the season. Buffalo touchdowns were scored by James Cook twice, Curtis Samuel, and Josh Allen. Tyler Bass had 4 successful field goals, helping Buffalo secure the win. The Bills will play next on Sunday, December 1st at home against the San Francisco 49ers. Unfortunately, the same cannot be said for the Buffalo Sabres. The Sabres fell 5-2 to the Philadelphia Flyers on Saturday. Philadelphia had an early lead over the Sabres, scoring 4 unanswered goals. Buffalo finally got the puck in the Flyers' net with goals from Rasmus Dahlin and Ryan McLeod. Devin Levi faced 25 shots, and he was sent down to Rochester following the loss. The Sabres played next in LA against the Kings at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
So I wanted to talk a little bit about the Bills game because I heard it was quite an important game for them. So tell me what was going on there.
So as we know, the Chiefs are our rivals in the AFC. So beating them and their undefeated record of 9-0 was a really big deal. The Bills now move to 9-2 for the first time since 1993, which is very impressive.
That is exciting. Yeah, I didn't watch a lot of it, but I heard there was a lot of excitement around the game, and it sounded like it. So we are very glad for that. That's really awesome. All right, so I'm now going to send it over to Adam for our weather forecast. What do you have for us, Adam?
Thanks, guys. Today we saw a relatively sunny, warm day with partly cloudy skies and a high of 62. Unfortunately, as the day went on, it did turn into a rainy day. Hopefully that goes away. We'll drop down to a low of 37. Cold weather all the way until tomorrow. 44 high tomorrow, Thursday. Yeah, that's about it.
Thank you so much, Adam. So when we return, we are going to have your international headlines. We'll be right back.
We've been down there. You gotta do the same. Post office. All you do is sign. So don't get nervous. Sign your name. Selective service. It takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. Selective service.
Hey guys, if you're about to turn 18, you've got to register with Selective Service. It's simple. Just go down to the post office, fill out a card, and turn it in. That's all there is to it. There's no draft now. You're just adding your name to Selective Service's list in case there's a national emergency.
So if you're 18 now, Selective Service, you gotta get down to the post office.
Register with Selective Service. It's quick, it's easy, and it's the law.
Takes no time. Just sign on the line at the post office. Selective Service.
Most of my family, they never graduated high school or even let alone go to college, so I'm trying to break that barrier. Every day after work, went straight to school, studied hard, and it paid off. I could not have done it alone. I see the future is really bright for me. The high school diploma is just added to the confidence, and now I feel unstoppable.
Find free adult education classes near you at finishyourdiploma.org.
Two communication cables between Lithuania and Sweden in the Baltic Sea were cut on Sunday morning. Telia Lithuania, a telecommunications company, said, quote, "We can confirm that the internet traffic disruption was not caused by equipment failure, but by physical damage to the fiber optic cable," end quote. Another cable linking Finland and Germany was also reported to be tampered with, according to a state-controlled Finnish company that runs the link. This cable is the only connection of its kind between Finland and Central Europe and spans nearly 730 miles. This incident comes after both Sweden and Finland updated their citizens on how to survive war. Millions of households in these nations will be given booklets with instructions on how to prepare for the effects of military conflicts and communication outages due to the ongoing conflict in Ukraine. While it is unclear exactly what caused the faults in the cables, Sunia company in Finland is investigating the issue. The foreign ministers of Finland and Germany said in a joint statement, quote, "The fact that such an incident immediately raises suspicions of intentional damage speaks volumes about the volatility of times," end quote. A repair vessel has been sent out to the site of the fault in Finland and Germany. It is unknown how long the repairs will take. However, it typically takes between 5 and 15 days for the submarine cables, although the Lithuanian cable is expected to be prepared over the next few weeks.
The largest coral ever recorded has been discovered, and it's so big that it can be seen from space. The coral was found by a National Geographic team conducting an expedition in the Solomon Islands in October to study ocean health. Scientists found that the coral colony spans about 111 feet wide, 104 feet long, and 18 feet high. This makes it longer than the world's largest animal, the blue whale. It's estimated to be about 300 to 500 years old. The megacoral is also in, quote, excellent condition, end quote, providing essential shelter to the vast amount of species. An associated professor at the University of Hong Kong who studies coral reefs said, quote, the fact that this coral has persisted through significant environmental change is a testament to its adaptability, end quote.
A 7-year-old computer software prodigy from Russia was just offered a job as soon as he is old enough to work. Sergey from St. Petersburg has been uploading videos on how to write software since he was 5. Pro32, a security information firm, sent him a written job offer for the position of head of corporate training. He will be able to accept the paid position at the age of 14 under Russian law. Pro32's chief executive, Igor Mandik, has spoken to Sergey's parents to work out collaboration in the meantime, and his father has expressed his excitement for when Sergey can join the company. Sergey enthusiastically goes through coding challenges on his channel in Russian and some broken English. His videos are mainly for those who want to learn programs like Python, Unity, and other networks that underlie many AI programs. Mandik says Sergey has a gift for developing, but also for teaching, and is excited to see where he is in 7 years. His starting salary has not been discussed yet, so they can see where the market is when he is closer to hiring age. And after the break, a look at a stamp for Betty White, Beyonce performing at the Ravens and Texans halftime show on Christmas Day, and Conan O'Brien hosting the 97th Academy Awards. We'll be right back.
Did you know dragging chains can spark a wildfire?
Only you can prevent wildfires.
When I was in foster care, I never knew when I would have to move, so I always had my suitcase ready to go. Then one day, I was adopted. My new parents opened their hearts and home to me. My parents cook my favorite breakfast for me every morning. My parents take me on trips I never thought I would go on. They gave me a home and an even better reason to use that suitcase. My parents aren't perfect, but they're perfect for me.
If a postage stamp with the infamous Golden Girls actress Betty White was on your Christmas list, you're just in luck. USPS announced on Friday that a Betty White stamp will be on a 2025 Forever stamp. A Boston-based artist, Dale Stefanos, created the digital illustration from a photo taken by Kuako Alston in 2010. The nation has had nothing but positive things to say about this announcement. Trump supporters, Harris supporters, and even Seth Meyers has come out and exclaimed excitement over the issue. The stamp does not have a set date of release yet.
Netflix will be hosting the Baltimore Ravens and Houston Texans game on Christmas Day, and they have just announced Beyonce will be performing during halftime. While the announcement didn't include much, Netflix teased guest appearances with features from her Cowboy Carter album. In the past, Beyonce has performed at 2 Super Bowls in 2013 and 2016. Netflix is scheduled to stream 2 NFL games this Christmas, the first being the Kansas City Chiefs and Pittsburgh Steelers.
Famed comedian and television host Conan O'Brien is set to host the next Academy Awards. It will mark the Emmy Award winner's first time at the helm of the Oscars. Many consider Conan to be a perfect host for his witty, relatable, and charismatic stage presence. O'Brien is best known for hosting the late-night talk show Late Night with Conan O'Brien, The Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien, and Conan. He currently hosts the comedy interview podcast, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. In Conan fashion, he joked about the news, saying, quote, America demanded it, and now it's happening. Taco Bell's newest cheesy Cholula Supreme. In other news, I'm hosting the Oscars, end quote. The 97th Oscar will take place Sunday, March 2nd, 2025 at the Dolby Theater in Hollywood and will air live on ABC. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm excited for this Betty White stamp.
It's really cute. It's so adorable.
I'm really excited for it, but is it going to be everywhere? Or was it just?
I don't know. I mean, like
was in Boston, but I don't know.
I don't know. There wasn't like a lot of information. It seems like I don't know when it's gonna.
But it
come
said
out.
it's going to be a forever stamp. So
which is
we now
beautiful
have a forever stamp
and
with
lovely.
Betty White.
I cannot wait for that, and I can't wait to see Beyonce at halftime.
I know.
On Christmas Day.
I am excited for that as well. Awesome. So we're now going to toss it to Adam one more time tonight for the end of the weekend weather. How's it look, Adam?
Thanks again, guys. Friday, we'll see it warm up a bit with a high of 46, but those cloudy skies and that rain will not be going away. We'll see some pretty heavy rain throughout the day Friday, dropping down to 42 degrees at night. Saturday, the rain will keep persisting. Throughout the night, all through the day, we'll see it warm up with a high of 49 degrees. Sunday, finally, the rain will slow down, a high of 47 degrees, cloudy skies. There may still be some slight showers heading into the evening as we cool down to 42 degrees, but we should hopefully remain rainless. That's all I have for you this week. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Adam. So that does it for News 11. Thank you to our behind-the-scenes crew, and we'll be back in 2 weeks.
As always, thank you to everyone watching at home. Have a great night.